Hello students. So this is the second part of the tissues chapter. In the previous lecture we have completed about the plant tissues. So today we are going to start with the animal tissues. Okay. So there are basically four types of the animal tissues: the epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissues, and the neural tissues. This neural tissues, you have already heard this in your 8th standard. The chapter name was nervous system. Okay, and this muscle cells is very familiar to you. Okay, it helps to give our body the shape. The connective tissues, which helps to connect up the organs of the body. Okay, and the epithelial tissues, they are present in the skin. Okay, on the surface of the skin. These are the four different types of the tissues. As we can see out here, that's a connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissues, and the nervous tissues. So basically these are the four different structures of this tissue. So let's discuss with the first tissue, that is the epithelial tissue. Okay, so first understand the word of epithelial. The word epi and thelial are the two different words. The word epi, remember this in biology, this word is going to come many a time. This means the upper. Okay, the thelial word means the skin. Okay, the upper skin of the animals are made up of this tissue, that is the epithelial tissues. Okay, where it is exactly located, where these epithelials are exactly located, it covers the surface of the body. Okay, when we see ourselves in the mirror, the skin which we can see easily, it is made up of the epithelial tissue. It present in and the lines of the various body cavities. The word body cavity means the empty space inside our body which is present, and inside this empty space there are the different organs that have been settled down. Okay, it has been included in the blood vessels as well, because they are working for the protection. Okay, they work for the absorption. Whenever you apply any of the ointment, okay, so it can get easily absorbed. Okay, it helps for the secretion, like how the sweat gets released from our skin, so it works as a secretion also. And the sensory perception, what do you mean by that? If suppose any of the objects when you touch, so we can, from our touch only we can notice that thing, that object was hot or cool. So that works for the sensory perception as well. Now there are the different type of the epithelial tissues. The words are very confusing. Okay, if you are going to see these words, they are very confusing. They are the squamous epithelium, stratified, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated, glandular. So let's discuss them in detail. Okay, as I already said, the words are very tough to make you understand, but they all have their logic behind that. See, first, squamous. The squamous word came from the Latin word which means squama. Okay, which means squama. And the word squama, it's a Latin word. Okay, the scale of the fish, the scales of the fish is called the squama. Scales of the fish, you can see of the fish, and the lining that is present on the upper side of the fish is nothing but the squama. So this word came from there. This word squamous also means flat, because they have their flat skin. Okay, the word stratified. Okay, what do you mean by word stratified? The word stratified means one above the another, like in a layers. Suppose this is a layer of this tissue. This is the first layer, this is the second layer, and this is nothing but basically the third layer, and as on. So we can see this piling of these layers. This piling of the layer is nothing but the stratified epitheliums. Okay, now the word cuboidal. Okay, it's a mathematical term also, cuboidal. Okay, cuboidal means like this. Okay, there is a difference between a stratified, there is a difference between a word cuboidal and columnar. If you look, see, cuboidal is this shape. Suppose I name it as A, this is a cuboidal, and suppose I am going to name it B, and this is nothing but the columnar. Okay, inside this there is the nucleus present in both of those tissues. See, if you are going to look, so you will notice that part. That this cuboidal is smaller in size, but when it becomes like this, okay, like a building shape, so we called it as a columnar. Okay, column shape. Now what do you mean by the word ciliated columnar epithelium? See, the words are very peculiar, I already mentioned. But if you are going to break up these words, see, if you are going to break like this, columnar, what is the shape of the columnar? Like this, okay, and inside there was a nucleus, and the word ciliated means the hairy structure. Okay, so that is why it is called as the ciliated columnar epithelium. Now, what do you mean by glandular epithelium? Basically, glandular, you have already heard about this word glands in your 8th standard, that is the endocrine gland. Okay, what is the work of this gland? The work of this gland is to secrete the hormones. And okay, what is the function of these hormones? It's a chemical messenger. It helps to transmit of the messages. Now let's understand one by one. And this ciliated and glandular are nothing but the types. Okay, this ciliated and glandular are the types of the columnar epithelium. See, this is the different shape. So as we can see out here, squamous, as I already said, it's a Latin word which means flat. So you can see of this flat kind of a structure. Okay, this flat like of a structure. This is the cuboidal. I have already made up the difference between this cuboidal and columnar. If you are going to see up this diagram perfectly, so you will be able to notice there is only a small boxes. So that is why it is called as a cuboidal, and columnar are taking up the shape of the building. So that is why they are called as the columnar. And as they have the hair kind of a structure on the top, so it is also called as the ciliated columnar tissues. Okay, and this is the stratified. What do you mean by stratified squamous? Stratified squamous means the layer. Okay, the word stratified means the layer. As we can see, there is layers one above the another. You can see this part. See, they are arranged like this. Now we are going to discuss them in detail, as I have already made you shown the figure also. Squamous epithelium, where this squamous epithelium is present. See, where this squamous epithelium is present. The word squamous means flat. Okay, it is found in the lining of the mouth and the nasal cavities. Okay, nasal means the nose related part, and blood vessel and lymph vessel. They are also present in the linings of the esophagus. The word esophagus means the food pipe. Okay, suppose this is a esophagus which is going to lead to the stomach. Okay, suppose the food is out here. Okay, this lining we can see out here and here. This lining is made of the squamous epithelium. What is the function of this squamous epithelium? The function of this squamous epithelium is to protect the body or the internal organs from any of the injury or from any of the germs that enter into our body. The work of this squamous epithelium is. Okay, and why this is flat in nature? Because see, if food is going to enter, suppose I am going to make a single line only. If suppose food comes inside this esophagus, so it should be able to travel down easily towards the stomach. So that is why it should be flat only. If the linings are too thick like this, suppose like this, the lining are too thick, So it becomes very difficult for this food molecule to go down. So that is why these tissues should be flat only, so that there is no problem or no irritation to any of the substance that enters into our body. Now the second, that is the stratified epithelium. Okay, the word stratified means the layer where exactly this stratified are present. This stratified are present in the skin and the cornea part. See, when we look ourselves in the mirror, that image which is formed in the mirror is nothing but the stratified epithelium. Okay, the stratified means the layer which we can see that easily. Now we are going to talk about the cuboidal epithelium. This cuboidal epithelium, it's where it is found in the kidney tubules. Okay, they are present in the kidney tubules and salivary glands. Kidney tubules and salivary glands. What are salivary glands? Which secrete saliva. Okay, you have already heard about this word before also, saliva. Okay, salivary glands, and inside this kidney tubules. Why they are present inside this? Because cuboidal epithelium is quite thick in nature. As kidneys are filtering organ, kidney is considered to be the filtry organ. Okay, so it has to excrete out a lot of waste. Okay, this kidneys helps to purify our blood, so it regulates many a time in a day. So that is why this kidney should be made of the cuboidal epithelium, because these tissues are quite thick in nature, which helps with the filtration, so that it protects the tissue from any of the damages. Okay, next, columnar epithelium. This columnar, it's a shape of a column. Okay, they are quite tall in size. They are found in the lining of the stomach and the intestines. See, this is a esophagus, and this was a shape of a stomach. This whole part like this, it is made, this layer which I made right now, it is made of this columnar epithelium. Okay, why? Because inside the stomach there is a digestive juice which we call as the HCl. HCl is a hydrochloric acid. It is very dangerous in nature. Okay, if suppose there is no protection of columnar epithelium, then what is going to happen? Your stomach is going to get burst out. Okay, your stomach is going to get burst out, or it will be problem inside your stomach. The problems can occur within your stomach. So this columnar epithelium helps and protect the skin. Okay, the skin means the outer layer. Okay, this columnar epithelium, and intestine means the small intestine and the large intestine. Now the ciliated epithelium. Okay, where these ciliated epitheliums are present? They are present in the trachea. Okay, they are present in the trachea. Trachea is also called as the windpipe. Trachea is also called as the windpipe. This ciliated what is the function of the cilia? The function of the cilia, it helps up the lashing and move the materials which enter this region. Okay, this cilia works as a broom. This cilia works as a broom. Okay, what is the function of the broom? When any of the dust particle that enters into your house, so what your maid or your mom does, she swipes the floor from the broom. So same like that, whenever you inhale, okay, whenever you take up the oxygen, so at that period of a time, while taking up the oxygen, there are many of the germs and the dust particle that enters into your body. At that period of a time, this cilia helps, it works as a broom. It only takes up the oxygen and the part which is not essential, it get excrete out through the sneeze. Okay, so many of a time you think of that part, okay, whenever you inhale, so some of a time you sneeze. Okay, why we sneeze? So the sneezing is basically nothing but the symbol that more amount of the germs or more amount of the dust particle enters into your body, so that's why it is a sign of a sneeze. So this trachea or the windpipe is made up of this ciliated epithelium. And how is the structure? It's a hair kind of a structure. Now glandular epithelium. How is the shape of this glandular epithelium? See, what I'm making is right now a squamous. Okay, squamous means the flat. This is a squamous. Okay, see, when this squamous is folded like this, when this shape is folded like this, so it becomes like this. This is nothing but the glandular epithelium. Okay, where these glandular epithelium are present? They are present in the sweat gland, tear glands, or in the livers. Okay, see, according to the name only you should get it up. Sweat gland, tear glands, liver. Okay, they are present inside them. And what is the function of this sweat glands? Sweat glands, they secrete of the hormones. Okay, they secrete of the hormones. So we can say that the secretion of the hormones occur within two parts of the body. It can be inside also and outside also. See, whenever we see any of the deserts, so our mouth starts to water inside. So there is a secretion of the saliva inside our body. Okay, whenever we go to play, okay, or whenever we do any other physical exercise, so our body secretes a lot of sweat. So that is outside. Okay, so there are two types of secretion. That is the secretion of the saliva within inside our mouth, and secretion of sweat outside the body. So this was all about the 6 different types of the epithelial tissues. Now we are going to learn about the connective tissues. Okay, connective tissues are those tissues which binds one tissue with another. Okay, it helps to connect up the various organs, as the name suggests. Some of the characteristics of these connective tissues are as follows. There is an abundance. Abundance means the sufficient amount, okay, of intercellular substance. That is the matrix. Okay, what is a matrix? It's an intercellular substance inside which there can be inside that we can fill up the substance which are essential. Okay, they are made up of the few cells. Okay, and they are made of the fibers. Fibers are the thread like of a structures. These connective tissues are classified. This connective tissue proper, okay, have been classified into 3 types. That is the areolar, adipose, and the fibrous connective tissue. Let's understand one by one. Areolar tissue. Okay, areolar tissue are present beneath the epidermis of the skin. Okay, basically there is a chapter that is called skin. So you are going to learn in that chapter. Okay, there are, suppose this is a structure. Okay, this is a single layer of the skin. This is called the epidermis, and this part is called dermis. Okay, this dermis layer is made up of the areolar tissue. Beneath, what do you mean by word beneath? Beneath means downward. Okay, beneath the epidermis. What is the function? It helps to make your skin elastic, and it also helps to withstand pulling strain. Okay, as our skin is quite elastic, so it helps from the mechanical damage also. okay, because this skin is very elastic and it gives up the flexible support to our body as well at the same period of a time. Now adipose tissue. Where is this adipose tissue is formed? Suppose this is a layer of a skin, okay, this is the adipose tissue, and this is the internal organs, and they are the internal organs, and the above one was the skin layer. See, this adipose is present between the skin and the internal organ. This adipose tissue is also called as the fat tissue because it helps to store up the fat and it also gives up the insulation. Okay, see, if the layer of adipose is more, to more the insulation. So that is why you can see the person who are quite fat excrete a lot of sweat from their body. Why they excrete a lot of sweat from the body? Because this adipose tissue works as an insulation. Okay, it allows the body to get heat up. Okay, more the fats, more the insulation, less the fats, less the insulation. And the next part is the fibrous connective tissue. As these connective tissues are made of the fibers, okay, we have already discussed this part. As this is made up of this fibers, so see, there are two types. They are of two types. See, first, ligament tear. Have you heard about this word before? Ligament tear. What do you mean by ligament tear? You have often seen the footballer who are playing on the ground, they get injured very often. Why they get injured very often? Because of this ligament tear. Okay, suppose, let's take an example. Suppose this is a bone, okay, and this is the other part of the bone. Okay, so these two bones are connected to each other. Okay, these two bones are connected to each other, so they are connected to the ligaments. Okay, the function of these ligaments is to hold them in position. Okay, to hold them in position whenever you walk. So whenever we walk, the knee, where is the knee? Okay, here, this is the upper part which is called thigh, and this is the lower part, okay, from where you walk. This is the thigh region and this is the region below the knee, and in between there is a knee. So whenever the footballer plays, they stretch their leg a lot, so that is why there is a tear in this ligaments. Okay, there is a tear in this ligaments, so because of that they suffer a lot of pain. This was about the ligaments. Now we are going to learn about one more fibrous connective tissue. There are different types of personality we have seen in our environment. Okay, some of them are quite healthy, some of them are quite thin. The person who are quite healthy, like Hrithik Roshan, okay, they do have this muscular body. So how it is possible? Suppose this is a bone. On the upper side of this bone, there is a deposition of these fats. Okay, there is a deposition of this muscles. Okay, these fats. This connection of bone to muscle is called tendon. Okay, so they are of two types, that is the tendons and the ligaments. Ligaments are bone to bone, and when it is bone to muscle, it is called as the tendons, and both the functions are same. They hold them in position. Now we are going to discuss about the supportive connective tissue. Again, it's a part of a connective tissue only. The previous one was proper connective tissue proper. Now this is supportive connective tissues, cartilage. Okay, this cartilage, see, first I am going to discuss about the cartilage. It has no blood vessels or nerves. Okay, this cartilage is very elastic in nature. Where it is, this cartilage are found in the tip of the nose or as the external ear. Okay, in the childhood we have seen this part many a time. Okay, whenever we used to do mischief, the school teachers or our parents used to hold our ear and they used to twist it up. So how it is possible to twist this part of the organ? Because they all are made of this cartilage. Okay, we can hold and where it is present on the tip of the nose. Okay, you can move up your nose left or right. Okay, they are also present between the vertebrae. What are the vertebrae? That's spinal cord. Okay, which helps to give them the elasticity. The next part, that is the bone. Okay, it's a hard tissue. Okay, it is a hard tissue. See, cartilage does not consist blood vessel and nerves, but this bone consists of blood vessels and nerve. Blood vessels. Okay, you have already heard about these blood vessels. They are the artery, veins and capillaries and nerves. So what is the difference between this part? See, bone. There is a difference. Bone, suppose this is a bone. Whenever there is a breakage in the bone, okay, whenever there is a breakage in this bone, so we call that condition as a fracture condition. So whenever we get a hurt on our bones and our bone get cracks, okay, so it causes a tremendous amount of pain. Why it causes a tremendous amount of pain? Because they are made up of the blood vessel and nerves. What is the function of the blood vessels? To transport of the blood. Okay, if suppose this is the blood vessels and it gets cracked from between, so what is going to happen? The blood flow will stop at that period, at that part. Okay, and as the blood stops, so what is going to happen? It is going to cause a lot of paining sensations. This bone are made up of two. They are consist of both. They are consist of the living cells and they are consist of the non-living part also. The living are called osteoblasts. Okay, this living cells, the osteoblast, this osteoblasts are nothing but the living cells. Okay, and what is a non-living matter? The non-living matters are the inorganic salts. Like we know, in order to make our bones strong, which minerals are essential? Everyone would know, that is the calcium, and the second one was phosphorus. So the bone is made up of this calcium and phosphorus, which helps to give up the strength to this bone so that it becomes very rigid. Okay, become very hard. So these are made up of the non-living salts also. Now we are going to discuss about the third type of tissue, that is the fluid connective tissue. The fluid means it can transfer from one place to another. Fluid means that. Okay, they are made up of these two, that is the blood and the lymph. This blood consists of two parts, that is the plasma and cells. Which cells? RBCs, WBCs and platelets. So first, what is a plasma? Plasma, it's a liquid part of the blood. Whenever we get a cut, the liquid that oozes out from our body is nothing but the plasma. Okay, and the liquid part is called as the plasma of the blood, and the part which is left is RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Each of the cells have their own function. What is the function of this plasma? See, plasma have many of the antibodies inside them, okay, which helps for our defense mechanism. But this plasma is colorless. But whenever we get a cut, why the red color oozes out of our body? Well, the reason behind that is the presence of these RBCs. Because the word RBC means the red blood cells. Okay, this red blood cells give up the color to this plasma. So that is why inside our body there is a texture reddish in color, okay, because of this RBCs. And how does this RBC gets their color? From the constituents, that is the hemoglobin, okay, because the word hemo means the iron. Because of this iron nutrient we get red color blood, okay. Second, there are some WBCs also. WBCs are nothing but your defense. They work for your defense part. What is the function of this defense? Okay, it helps to protect our body from any of the germs, bacteria, viruses that enters into our body. Okay, so they work as a defense. Like how our country is protected from the navy. Okay, there is the army who protects up our country. So same like that, inside our body there are WBCs which protect up our body. The third part is called the platelets. What are these platelets? See, platelets are only present in the mammals. Okay, mammals means which can give birth to the young ones. Okay, platelets. Now, the function of this platelets is clotting of blood. What do you mean by word clotting of blood? See, whenever we get a cut, so what I said, the blood oozes out of our body. Okay, the blood oozes out of our body for a certain period of time only. It does not keep on flowing. Okay, it does not keeps on flowing. At a certain period of a time, it stops automatically. So how it is possible? This is only possible through these platelets. The platelets which are present in our body helps in the clotting of the blood. Clotting of the blood means the flow of the blood stops after a while. Lymph. You have already heard about this word in your 8th standard, lymph vessels. So what is a lymph? Lymph is also the fluid. Okay, it is also the fluids. This lymph is made of WBC only. Okay, it does not have RBCs. The function of this WBC is for the defense mechanism. It helps to improve up your immunity system. Okay, what do you mean by word immunity? Immunity means protection against any of the diseases like bacteria, germs, viruses. Okay, this lymph is a vessel. Okay, how we have a blood? We have lymph also. See, these are the different types of structure which are present inside the animal tissues. Okay, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. The RBCs have a biological word that is erythrocyte. WBC is called the leukocytes and the platelets are called thrombocytes. This all erythrocyte, leukocytes and thrombocytes are nothing but the biological terms. Now we are going to move to the next type of tissue, that is the muscle tissues. The first interesting facts we will know. Okay, it forms up the muscles of our body. The function of these muscles, first we should understand, it's the contraction and relaxation. The function of our muscles is to get contracted and to get relaxed. One general knowledge fact I would like to share with you. see, whenever we smile, at that period of a time, 17 muscles comes into action, and whenever we frown, it takes 43 muscles to get work on. Okay, so that is why we always say, okay, be happy. Why they say be happy? Because only at that period of a time 17 muscles work. Whenever you are in any of the stress, or you are in a frowning condition, so it takes a lot of muscles. Okay, straight yard, unstraight yard, heart, or the cardiac muscle. The word cardiac means the heart only. Okay, related to heart. The word straight yard means, see, these muscles are called the skeletal muscles. They are called as the skeletal muscles. They are voluntary in nature. What do you mean by word voluntary? Voluntary means which is under our control. Okay, which is under the control of the will. Okay, suppose if I am going to tell you, okay, pick up a pen, so yeah, definitely for sure it is under your will that whether you have to pick up the pen or not. Okay, so this is called as the voluntary, which is under our control. Okay, if suppose I am going to tell you, okay, stop blinking up your eye, is blinking of your eye under your control? The answer is no, because this blinking of the eye is the reflexes part. This is involuntary of nature. Suppose I tell you, okay, tell your heart to stop beating, is it possible? No, because they are involuntary. Involuntary means the muscles which are not under our control, and the voluntary means which are under our control. This straight yard, they are long, they are cylindrical in shape. Cylindrical means like this. They are cylindrical in shape. Okay, and they are multinucleated. What do you mean by multinucleated? Multicellular you have heard. Okay, so multinucleated is the same only, many nucleus. Multinucleated means many nucleus. There are many nucleus that are present. Okay, and these skeletal muscles constitute about 50% of your body weight. Okay, suppose your weight is 70, so around 35 to 40 kg of your body weight is made up of this straight yard muscle. Those straight yard muscles are very important. Okay, now we are going to talk about the second type of a muscle, that is the unstraight yard muscles. Unstraight yard muscles are those muscles which are not under our control. Okay, which we can not under our control means involuntary in nature. What do you mean by involuntary? Which are not under our control. As I said, okay, if I am going to tell you stop breathing, okay, for 10 hours, is it possible for your survival then? No. Okay, so these unstraight yard muscles are involuntary in nature. Okay, see, even they unstraight yard muscles are long. Okay, they have the pointed end because the shape is like this, like a needle. Okay, they have a needle kind of a shape. Like this. And as straight yard was multinucleated, but the unstraight yard is uninucleated. What do you mean by uninucleated? Only a single. Okay, where these unstraight yard muscles are found? They are present in the walls of the intestine, which helps in the passage of food. Okay, it helps in the transportation of the foods. They are present on the muscles of the iris of the eye. Okay, they are present in the urinary bladder, and they are present in the skin. Okay, because they are not under our control. The next muscles in heart or the cardiac muscles, even they are involuntary in nature. They are involuntary in nature. Even this unstraight yard was involuntary in nature. But what is the difference between and this cardiac muscles as we have the word heart, they are present in the walls of the heart. Okay, where are they present? In the walls of the heart. Walls of the heart. But what is the difference between our cardiac muscles and our unstraight muscles? Both of them, the function is the same, that is involuntary in nature. Okay, then what is the difference? Even they are uninucleated. Okay, and they are somewhat kind of a branch. Okay, like this. Suppose this is one of the branch, second branch, yes. They are, and only a single nucleus is present in one branch. But what is the difference? See, the difference lies is this unstraight muscles work for temporary period of time, and this hard muscles or the cardiac muscles work for a very long period of a time, that is 24/7. So that is why it got a special name, that is the cardiac muscles. Because if suppose your heart stops pumping, so what is going to happen? Definitely a person is going to get die. So that is why it has to throb, or it has to pump the blood 24/7. But unstraight muscles are temporary in nature, because they are present. See, they are going to, this unstraight muscles are going to work at that particular period of a time. Whenever suppose I am eating of the food, so at that period of a time the unstraight muscles is going to get work. But the humans are not going to eat 24/7. Okay, we are going to eat our lunch, dinner for half an hour and half an hour, like around 2 to 3 hours this unstraight muscles work. But this hard muscle has to work 24/7, because this is the life. So we can see out here, there are the different structures we can see. Okay, the first one, they are present in the internal organs. We can see out here the stomach and the intestines, and we can see of the structure. This is cardiac muscles which are present in the walls of the heart. How they are branch form. Okay, and they are not the branch form. If you are going to see of this internal organs, so we can see they are the pointed end. Okay, how it pointed end means like this. And these voluntary muscles are present in the legs and all. Okay, legs, arms, neck. Okay, leg is under our control. Okay, if I have to walk, then only I am going to walk. If I don't have to walk, so I am going to sit. Okay, so it is under our control. Now the neural nervous tissue. You have already heard about this in your 8th standard. This is also called as the nerve cell or a neuron. Nerve cell or a neuron. This is the structural and the functional unit of nervous system. Okay, if suppose, what is the function of this neuron? Let's understand in detail. This function of this nerve cell is to transmit message to the brain. Okay, if suppose I am touching any of the hot object, so what is going to happen? Immediately I am going to remove my hand. Why I am going to remove my hand? Because that object has given me the heating sensation. Okay, on the skin, and when the skin have touched that hot object, it directly sended the impulses. Impulses means the message, where it has sent the message to the brain, and immediately the brain has responded. Okay, so the work of this nerve cell is to transmit message to the brain. Okay, and it is very important one, because without this nervous system you won't be able to transmit any of the message, you won't be able to receive any of the message. So as in the human condition, if you look at the human condition, okay, this is a head, this is the body part, and these are the legs part. Okay, I know this doesn't look like a human, but then too you have to understand this is a head, this is a body part, and this is the leg part. This part, okay, only this part which I marked, it is called, the head part is called this neuron cell body, or it has been called as the cyton also. Okay, we can see inside this cyton there is a presence of a nucleus, and there is a branch that get, okay, that the branch that has been arised out of this cyton, we are going to call them as the dendrites. Okay, this branch size is called as the dendrites, the branch which has been excreted out. This part, this is the dendrite. Okay, now we are going to talk about the middle part, that is the body region. It is called as the axon. Inside the axon there is a nucleus also, there is a single nucleus, they haven't mentioned out here. Okay, there is a myelin sheet. What is the function of this myelin sheet? Is to protect up this nervous cell. Okay, as to protect up this nerve cell. And we can see at the end the branches again get arise out. So from where these branches are arising out, from this axon, so they are also called as the axon terminals. Okay, they are also called as the axon terminal. Why they are called as the axon terminals? Because these branches have been arised out of from this axon, and this structure is very important because it always comes in your board exams of 9th standard as well as your school exams. Okay, so this was the part 2. This was the part 2 of the tissue chapter. So let's see to this part first. Squamous, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated and stratified. This connective are of 3 types: areolar, adipose, skeletal and fluid. 4 types. This areolar has the tendon and the ligaments. Skeletal has the bone and the cartilage. Fluid has the blood and the lymph. This muscular have the striated, smooth and cardiac. And the nervous system and adipose does not have any sub-branchings. So thank you student. This was the part 2 of the tissue chapter.